There we go. What's going on, y'all? We are here on our new home of Ask Me About My podcast. Finally figured it all out, got approved to go live on this new channel. So I'm going to start promoting this, trying to get people to come over from my previous channel. So pretty excited about this. Just creating more ways to get access to this podcast. Today, going to continue my football week and talk about a few things. First, I was kind of embarrassed yesterday about the Black History Month comment that I made. Not that it was offensive or anything, but that I should have done my research as opposed to relying on someone else to do theirs. So I'm going to be sharing a fact this week, each day, share a different fact about how Black History Month has affected the NFL. And today I'm going to be starting with the first Black NFL player. So let's dive right in. What's going on, everybody? Andrew asked me about my podcast, back with another episode. Today, we're talking about Kenny Washington, the first Black NFL player, as well as the viewership of the NFL over the past year. This is going to be super data heavy and super numerical. I don't think that's the right word. I guess just data heavy is probably the best way to put it. So if that's not, or analytical. So if that's not your thing, this might not be the one for you, but I found it very interesting and going to kind of share my thoughts on why I believe or what I think is going to change over the course of the next year and why some of these numbers are off a little bit. So first, like I mentioned, I want to kind of dive into Black History Month a little bit better than I did yesterday. That was kind of a flop on my part. I'm going to do my own research and I'm going to come up with my own facts based in reality, obviously, based on facts, and share some of my thoughts and my learnings through Black History Month. So we're going to go through first. The first NFL Black player was Kenny Washington. Went to UCLA and was named the Kingfish. As a halfback, he set a college record of 3,200 yards of total offense over the course of his career. Won the Douglas Fairbanks Trophy for the best college player and was named the American College All-Team in August 1940. He also played baseball at UCLA alongside Jackie Robinson. In 1945, the LA Rams, who relocated from Cleveland just can't seem to get it to figure it out, or can't figure it out, were required to sign an African-American player or they would lose their lease at the LA Memorial Coliseum. So on March 21st, 1946, Washington became the first African-American to sign an NFL contract. This has led to an NFL that now has 60 to 70% of the players that are Black, 30% of the assistant coaches that are Black, 9% of head coaches, 7% of VPs, and 6% of GMs. Obviously, we still have a lot of work to do there, but I wanted to highlight Kenny Washington and his contributions to the NFL as being the first first Black NFL player back in the 1940s, which it seems like forever ago, but if you really look at it, it's about 60 some years ago. Yeah, 65 years ago from 1946. That's only like really one generation. So it's pretty interesting to see that statistic. Then going on to the NFL viewership. So this has been a kind of a hot topic that has gone in and out of the NFL all year. So in 2020, the NFL saw a decline of 7%. They had 15.4, or an average viewership of 15.4 million people. In 2019, they had a viewership of 16.5 million people. And in 2018, an average viewership of 15.8 million people. In 2020, 18 of the NFL games had 20 million viewers. In 2019, 29 NFL games had 20 million viewers. So huge discrepancy there by, almost 11 games over the course of the year. On Sunday Night Football, they wrapped up their 15th season as the top primetime program on TV. And in 2020, this was the least watched Sunday Night Football since 2008. Monday Night Football saw no difference. They had an average viewership of 11.8 million viewers, and again, down from 12.1 million viewers in 2019. Fox's American Game of the Week, or America's Game of the Week, which is the afternoon game on Fox, had an average of 23.2 million viewers, and this saw a 6% decrease in viewership. CBS's games on Sunday afternoon had an average of 16.5 million viewers, which saw a decrease of 4%. And this is the lowest rating since 2017. We also look at the alternative platforms. Verizon is the official carrier of the NFL. They had games over the course of the year. Twitch, and they're in association with their partnership with Amazon Prime. So during week 16, we had Amazon. We had Arizona versus San Francisco, which put out 11.8 million views. Watched some part of the game on either Amazon or Twitch. And I think that's super key, and I'm going to kind of go into that at the end a little bit. It's no lie, 2020 season was unique. We had no preseason games and limited spectators, which you would assume would be an increase in viewership. Out of the 256 regular season games, only 18 were moved, which if you look back at everything that's kind of happened over the course of the year is kind of amazing. Looking ahead, I think we're going to start seeing an increase in alternative formats of broadcasting. We saw that this year with the wild card game on CBS and Nickelodeon. You had the Chicago Bears playing the New Orleans Saints. This was the most watched programming on Nickelodeon in almost 4 years with 2 million viewers. I think that's going to kind of lend to the future of broadcasting on the NFL. There was a lot of, I guess just in the media that I was watching, there was a lot of discrepancy or a lot of dismay in the broadcasting, broadcasters to be specific. And I think that's probably going to have to change in the future. We had Tony Romo, obviously, in his second or third year as a broadcaster, really getting into the mind of the quarterback, which was really cool to see and kind of providing a more in-depth perspective of the game, which I thought was awesome to see. You also saw people on Twitch, and I think this is going to be popular and kind of increase in the future. You saw people on Twitch do their own broadcasts for NFL games. Like I said, their partnership with Amazon, I think, is only going to flourish through this, and I think that's only going to be more prevalent in the coming years. You also saw, I guess, the rise of technology, people moving to more alternative ways to watch the game. Like I said, Verizon, Twitch, Amazon Prime, and I think those are going to adjust the traditional numbers of average viewership, which is kind of which is why these numbers I think are a little off. I'm going to keep the politics out of it. I don't know. I haven't really read much about it and don't really know much about it or how it's how it's influenced the games and viewership. Maybe that's played a little bit into it, but 5 to 6% seems like quite a bit. So I think you're going to start seeing, like I said, alternative formats be a lot more popular in the future. I guess illegal streaming has been a big deal. I don't think these numbers also include like if you watch Fox on an app on Apple TV. So I think that's another big reason there. Cord cutting is obviously huge and is going to only continue over the next couple of years. So I think these alternative forms of broadcasting are going to be becoming the norm, and I think you're going to have more ways to view and watch an NFL game from a perspective that you want to watch it from, which is going to be awesome for the viewer. Going to be tough for the advertiser, and it's going to be even harder for the broadcaster trying to come up with contracts during negotiation. So that will be something to follow in the coming years. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Like I said, we've moved over to our own channel. I have moved over to my own channel. Ask Me About My Podcast on YouTube. Give it a search. Would love to get a thumbs up and a follow. Would be absolutely amazing. You can support us on anchor.fm/Ask Me About My Podcast, and would really appreciate any shares or, just shares. Share it to a friend if you got any value out of this. This is the easiest way for us to grow. Really appreciate it. Looking to grow an awesome community over the course of 2021. Enjoy your Tuesday. Have a wonderful day. Crush it. Peace, y'all.